I think it's really important there's a professional standard for CIOs and CTOs. There's such a variety in terms of kind of job titles and experience when you kind of look out there. Anybody from 3 years in could be a CTO for somebody who's like 30 years in. And I think actually having an external benchmark and something that validates not just experience, but also kind of expertise and across a range of different areas as well is hugely important. Just so clients can understand when they're hiring somebody, actually, this person has reached a recognized standard rather than basically having to trawl through a CV and trying to extract out maybe what the experience is. I think the roles massively changed. I think if you go back 10, 15 years, maybe when I first started to be like an IT director, CIO, the role was, I mean, it was always been a challenge, but definitely now, I think with the advent of things like AI, clearly, everybody's talking about that, but also the risk around cyber means I think it's more important now that companies have confidence in the CIO and CTO and leadership to recognize that that individual has the relevant experience to kind of navigate them through what can be quite a difficult and challenging environment. I mean, I did an MBA, it was 20 years ago now. And I think that's the closest thing I'd say to what the standard offers, because it's very broad in terms of kind of the reach. I've done other sort of more technical qualifications, like project management and cybersecurity and things like that as well. But there's nothing really that kind of bridges that gap between something like an MBA where kind of, you learn the essentials around business and kind of commercial aspects and things which perhaps don't naturally fit into the IT world, but kind of at the right level. You can absolutely specialize in certain areas and we all got a background and a specialism, but there's nothing before the standard that really kind of validates you as an IT director or CIO, CTO at the right level. So I think it's hugely important and it's filling a big gap. The fact that you can point to an external qualification and say, look, this is something I've attained, really just backs up. I mean, obviously you need to know the stuff yourself as well, so you need to walk the walk. But I think having that initial validation piece around a certified qualification really helps kind of cement you in the minds of your clients. You know what you're talking about. Oh, absolutely do it. It might feel a bit daunting. It may be like me, it's a long time since you've done anything like this, but it's a great thing to do. It's not overly challenging. I mean, it will you definitely need to know your stuff, but it's achievable. And what it'll really do is it'll help you bring back to your front of your mind things that you already knew but perhaps not been using for some time. Like for me, for example, the roles I've done have been very much based around sort of project delivery, systems integration, those things, less about architecture and stuff that I knew. And certainly going through the standard kind of examination process, it kind of brings that all back to the fore. And it really helps you. It kind of makes you think about things which perhaps you've not done for a while and really helps you be a more rounded CIO and CTO. So I'm currently mentoring one of my clients who's kind of stepped up to be head of IT, and it's the perfect qualification. I'm trying to encourage her to take it as well, and we've talked through kind of my experience of doing the standard, and I think it gives a really good structure, and certainly for an individual who perhaps hasn't done the role before, it kind of shines a bit of a light on what the role requires, maybe identify some gaps or some areas where they perhaps need to focus a little bit more or get some relevant experience. So, yeah, absolutely. I mean, experienced CIOs, CTOs do it. Like I say, for the reasons before around kind of refreshing your memory, but for aspiring CIOs and CTOs, yeah, it's a great framework to really kind of focus your career path.